Derrick, good to see you. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you, Pat?
Doing well. And here we are in the middle of the event. Things are going well. For people who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
My name's Derrick. I'm the director of marketing at ConvertKit.
Awesome. Derrick and I have worked a lot together over the last number of years to help ConvertKit get to where it's at today. And it's really awesome. And what's really awesome about ConvertKit also is that you guys are always innovating, right? And so one thing that has sort of come into the email marketing scene fairly recently is this idea of commerce in email, right? A lot of us think of email as just like a mechanism to start potentially selling things. And obviously it's a way to connect with people too. But now ConvertKit has built in sort of its own e-commerce platform within it. Can you describe what that actually means? And we can get into some use cases as well, because I think once people realize how not just neat this is, but how convenient it is, I think people are going to be pretty impressed by it.
Yeah, so traditionally, ConvertKit was just an email marketing tool, but we started to hear from creators that they had growing needs, and obviously, commerce is a big part of that, being able to sell digital products. And so we launched ConvertKit Commerce just over a year ago. And it's a fantastic way to very, very quickly stand up a digital product. That could be an ebook, a course, a workshop, even a paid newsletter, access to a paid newsletter.
Mhm.
And ConvertKit Commerce is a great way to really quickly stand up a digital product like that and get it in front of your subscribers.
Okay, so you have email subscribers. What would be the easiest way to send something and generate an income using this particular mechanism? Like, is it literally just a button inside the email that a person can click on to purchase, and all that's handled through ConvertKit?
Yep, it's all handled. We handled the transactions. Really, all you have to do is upload the digital file that you're selling, or link to a course, like a workshop or a course. And it's very simple. It could not be simpler. And we handle all the payment processing and transactions for you. It's great. It's a very powerful product.
One of the reasons why I loved ConvertKit in the first place, back when it was just email, is it made email just itself a lot easier and more graspable. And now that you're adding commerce, I know a lot of people were like a little bit confused when commerce came out on ConvertKit, because it's like traditionally we have commerce separate than that. We have a different platform to collect payments on and such, or even PayPal or Stripe or something like that. What is it? How does this help a creator ultimately? Like, what does this really do for people having this all integrated all into one?
It really simplifies things. Having everything all in one place makes it a lot simpler. And when we created ConvertKit Commerce, we geared the product experience for emerging and professional creators. So on the emerging creator side, that's a creator that might have an audience and they're just starting to experiment with ways to monetize that audience.
Mhm.
And so we created ConvertKit Commerce in a way that makes it really easy to test different ideas. You're not sinking a whole bunch of time and energy into some other platform that you have to figure out and learn. It just all kind of works together. And because it's fully integrated, it saves the creator a ton of time, so they can get out of the tool, out of ConvertKit, and get back to doing what they do best, and that's creating. And that's really what matters, is we want to help creators create and ultimately earn a living online. That's our mission. And so now we kind of see it as we're finally fulfilling our real mission of helping creators earn a living. Yeah.
That's great. Help the creator who's watching this right now, who has an email list, who wants to sell something, but they've really never sold anything before. And it almost seems, I'm sure for some people, it's a big ask to ask them to pitch something in an email to then sell, right? It almost can feel sometimes like if we do that, our audience is going to turn against us, right? How do creators ensure that when promotion happens, it's done with grace, it's done in a way that's not going to upset an audience, it's going to be something that actually works and everybody's happy in the end?
Yeah, so one thing that that's really different about email marketing is it's one of the best channels to build a relationship with your audience, and that takes time. And you can create a very scalable, personalized experience for your subscribers. And I think that is the foundation. The first step is being able to build that deep relationship with your subscribers before you offer a product. And so it's all in one place, and you can do that right in the ConvertKit tool. And you can test out different products really quickly and easily to see what resonates and what doesn't, and go through that iterative process of learning and getting feedback from your subscribers about what's resonating and what isn't.
One of the coolest things that I think people can do is go into a record, a particular person's email address within ConvertKit to see like all the different kinds of products they've already purchased. You know, we used to just see just the emails that they opened, the emails that they opened and clicked on, the emails that they didn't open, and that gives us some good understanding. But now to combine products with that and things like that, that just gives us a lot more information. Again, you had mentioned, and I'm asking for the beginners especially, building a relationship with your audience via email. How do you do that? What does that look like exactly?
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to do it. It's different for every creator, and you kind of have to find your own path. But we do have a ton of educational material and courses on ConvertKit to help you learn how to do that. We also run these challenges where we run like a monthly Grow Your Audience challenge, for example, to help you learn how to start building that relationship. And we provide you everything you need to get going in that journey.
ConvertKit obviously is there to support its creators. So definitely check out the knowledge base and things like that. But in your eyes, Derrick, if you were to pick one way that a person who's just signed up for ConvertKit or has an email list and hasn't really done anything with it yet, what's one thing that they can do so that when it comes time to sell something, it's going to be just a natural conclusion to that conversation, right? Like what specifically via email can they do to do that?
It sounds simple, but just asking what your subscribers' pain points are. It's a conversational medium, and that's one of the best ways. It's just asking what are the problems that your subscribers are trying to solve, and from there, that becomes a launching point to help you figure out a product that you can create to meet that need for your subscribers.
That's really cool. I want to ask you about the paid to subscription newsletter. That's sort of a new thing that's sort of come about over the last few years. A lot of people are, in fact, paying to get access to newsletters. I want to ask you this question because that was very new to me when I heard that this was happening. Why would a person pay to get access to more emails? We don't want more emails when we wake up in the morning, but people are making a living by putting a paywall between them and a newsletter or an email. How does it, like, why does that even work?
Well, the way that I think about this is the age of the creator. And there's never been a time when people were more willing people have never been more willing to help support independent creators than they are today. And so that's one aspect, is that people, your subscribers, they want to support you. They want to see you succeed as a creator. And that's a huge difference from the way things have been in the past. And now with tools like ConvertKit Commerce, it's never been easier to make that happen.
You know, the way I think about it is it's not like a tip jar also. Like you can actually include some amazing value inside a newsletter. And this is why people are subscribing to them, right? Like, yes, a newsletter could be free. It could be just exclusive tips and other things like that. But when you consider that your newsletter may contain life-changing information or information that provides an ROI on something, then the value of signing up for and transactions that lead into the newsletter become much more clear. For example, you know, I know there's now a lot of newsletters in the finance space to get access to information that might help one with certain decisions that they might make with some of their finances and such. There's even people who just happen to be at the top of the expert chain in terms of a particular subject matter, and they are able to support themselves through having people pay to get access to this. So it's not like people are just paying to pay you, they're actually getting something as a result of this, right? Like they're paying and getting something in return. If a person were to consider that, how do we position our newsletter in a way that it makes sense to sell? What do you write on the what do you write on a sales page for a paid newsletter? Like that's probably the hardest part that I think a lot of people are going to have when they do that. So what would be your marketing recommendations for helping people understand that? Well, yeah, you should totally pay for this newsletter, because it's still kind of new and different today.
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road, really. And I think starting with asking your subscribers what their pain points are and building a product that's geared towards that will take you a long way. But this is where experimentation really is important. And having a tool like ConvertKit Commerce, where it's very easy to spin up a different landing page, sales page, to test out different offers, is really going to be the key. And I don't have all the answers. This is where the genius of creators all over the world comes into play. They're coming up with a creative pitch or angle. I've seen creators running paid newsletters that are advanced content. I've also seen an approach where it's just behind the scenes, right? So they have their normal newsletter, and they have this behind the scenes newsletter that's more about just their life and what they're doing and what they're up to, how they're creating. And so it doesn't even necessarily need to be some big advanced course or something like that. It could even be something as simple as just a way for your subscribers to get to know you better. And that has worked. I've seen it work. And so again, testing, building that relationship with your audience, and trying things, thinking outside the box.
What's the usual price point for like a newsletter subscription, just to give us a little gauge there?
Yeah, I've seen like $5 a month. I've seen 15, 20. Some have even been much higher than that if they're really advanced newsletters. They can be quarterly, annual, monthly, whatever it is, whatever way you want to structure that. But typically I'd say $5 to $15 a month.
Okay, and then how often are people expecting to receive emails after they subscribe?
Yeah, that varies a lot too. Typically, I think the average is going to be weekly, like a weekly newsletter. I've seen monthly. That works fine too. It really depends on what commitment you're ready to make as a creator. The other approach we've actually seen work well is paid evergreen newsletters, right? So one of the concerns that creators have if they're going to create a paid newsletter is they're going to be stuck on this hamster wheel of sorts.
Right.
You can build it in a way that you're continuing to create new content every week, but it's set up in a course, right? That it's going to trickle in over time. And so anybody that purchases access to your newsletter, they're just signing up for an evergreen series of emails that they're going to get. That can work really well too.
That's really cool. And the possibilities are endless. And I think that as long as you're providing value to your consumer, your reader on the other end, then great things can happen. And that's really what it comes down to. So some of those things that you want to provide, maybe you provide for free because you want to become known for something, you want to build that authority and build that trust. But then eventually, I think it's important to realize that you should also absolutely be getting paid for what you do, because the more that you are able to get paid for what you do as a creator, the more you are able to create, the more you're able to help others and serve others too. And I think that's a thing that I know you guys have noticed from some people who have signed up for ConvertKit is like, they're a true artiste, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't want to make money from my art. How might you speak to somebody who potentially feels that way?
Yeah, we hear that a lot, and that's a tough thing to overcome. It really is. And I think that bottom line is, as a creator, you deserve to be paid for the work that you're doing. And there's never been a better time to be a creator than now. People have never been more willing to support creators, and they want to do that. I imagine a lot of those creative types, they would probably be surprised how many of their subscribers would love to pay them and support them in a monetary way if they just made it easy for their subscribers to do that.
Yeah, so true. Well, that's a great message to end on, Derrick. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you to you and the entire ConvertKit team, and for making it easier for us to have the mechanisms to generate an income with our brands. We appreciate it.
It's great. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks.